Thank you once again and again and again for taking time out of your busy schedule to allow me to share with you my journey towards resilience and what I'm hoping is our connection on your journey towards your unique approach to resilience. And I believe we all have that capacity and capability, but maybe it's helpful to have reminders or guides or suggestions during your day to reorient you, to check your compass, and not just the direction, but also towards the depth and the breadth of your own resilience. This is part 2 of the Sound of Thou episode previously. So I'm going to continue to point out or read back to you some parts of the book by Mr. Martin Buber, the book called I and Thou. So on the previous one, part 1, I discussed not just the topic or the title of the book, I and Thou. What Mr. Buber was getting to was not just those two words, those aspects of the godness that we all have. It's what is the in-between. As I mentioned in the previous podcast episode, it was about what I mentioned in my novice, naive way, that love that connects all of us, that I'm learning for myself just over the past, several months at best from my son who taught me that thing about love. But let's get into it more today in this discussion about what also was essential in Mr. Buber's book, about not just what's in between, which is critical to reading and understanding his book. Also, there's a word I've used in other episodes about breaking it down to the base, simple description and definition of what is between. Not just the love part, but the action. If you can recognize that action, that love that we are sharing knowingly or unknowingly, as I have described it to you in my episodes, what is between is the love. But then what do you do with that realization and that new awareness that for me is new? Maybe for you it's old news. But what is the action with that awareness? As Mr. Buber said, we must absolutely, ultimately, every day, simply, we must meet, which is what we're doing right now. Even though I'm not physically there with you, nor are you here with me. In this moment in time, even though I may have recorded it many days ago, you just now listen to it weeks later. In that spiritual realm, that ethereal realm, that random, not so coincidental realm, we are meeting now. We have met. So, take that as a bookmark. Let's step forward. Again, also it's tied into, not because Mr. Buber is in any way endorsing my perspective on the importance of resilience in this day, 2024. No, he was, not just years, eons, centuries ahead of where I would ever be in understanding the importance of being aware of my own voice, my own purpose, my own message, and the thing called love. And now this thing about thou and I and thou and what's in between. But it's coming more spirally circular, not circular, more of a spiral to me about understanding how I can understand this from different aspects. Sometimes in that parallax view of the same subject or same object, but in a different way. So let me get to this part of the discussion today. Again, this is from Mr. Buber's book, this part. Please listen to this. The intersubjective space of love, however, is not defined by feelings, but rather enlarges one's cognitive and ethical horizons beyond one's solitary self. transcending one's my, as well as that of one's political and social community. Feelings accompany the metaphysical and metapsychical fact of love, but they do not constitute it. Feelings are entertained. Love comes to pass. Feelings dwell in man, but man dwells in love. Think about that. That is not a metaphor, but an actual truth. Love does not cling to the I in such a way as to have love only for its content, its object. But love is between the I and thou. Love is responsibility of an I and for a thou. Isn't it just, again, it gives me, I don't know, not shudder, it makes me tingle. Makes me, I don't know, excited to hear that, the way he explained this to us. Going further, so quoting, it is the between, instantiated by I-thou meeting, that will bring about the genuine human person and to establish a new, genuine community. I'm just fascinated and just, I know, maybe I'm easily educated, not entertained, but easily educated by something I never heard before, never read. But as I said to you before, when I talk about that term, that Latin term, educare, meaning me reading this from Mr. Martin Buber from decades ago, it is evoking something out of me that's already in me. I didn't put it in there, but maybe just the reading of something like this that's new to me, not new to the world or to the universe, but here it is. It's inciting, initiating, sparking something, or adding more fuel to what I mentioned to you in previous episodes about that spark of life, that pilot light that burns within each of us individually, yet also collectively. Something like this. That's why I'm sharing with you, sometimes my, innovative topics to get your attention to listen to it. But there is a method to this madness. I don't want to pique your attention and titillate your brief time you have available to consider a new perspective. But as I said, my sincere, genuine intent is this guarantee that listen to this episode and maybe even the previous 400 episodes of 820, I guarantee to change your perspective on this present moment. So thank you for allowing me to do that. I think I'm still have some more to relate to you from Mr. Buber's book, I and Thou. So I think there will be also a part 3. Until then, stay present, stay current. No matter where you are, we have met, and it's still 820.